How y'all doing today? Hope y'all are having a good day and doing well. And thank you for your time as always. Getting back into what I'm talking about here with acting and such. I want to talk about one aspect that I've always understood when I've heard it talked about, simply because of my, I guess, life choices, whatever. But it's generally when, like with the whole Me Too movement and not just female empowerment, but the stories about how they were treated or mistreated by people in power and how people use authority over them. I've always understood them, and I think I talked about this in the last video or the one before that. It's like it stems back to 2008 when I had a traumatic event in my life I refer to as the fire. If you've had a chance to read this book, it's in chapter 3. It touches on it. It's much more than I talk about in the book. But anyways, since 2008 when it happened, I've always been very less trusting of myself. So it causes me to be a lot more, present myself as a lot more timid than I can be. And people always assume that timid, or not people, but generally A-type personalities, when they come along, they always assume that timidness for weakness is just my trait. So they like pushing me around to the point where I realize I'm getting pushed around, and then I just pop, and then something dumb happens. That's kind of how I found myself in the situation I'm in right now. But I mean, like I said, it wasn't my fault. I didn't instigate it. I did. I mean, like I said, I could have just let it go. But if I let it go, then it's tantamount to saying it's okay for you to speak to me this way, and it wasn't. And the fact that I even have to say something like that is outrageous to me. You're gonna say you're my brother and speak to me that way? No, sir. That's not how you speak to trash. And he spoke to me like trash, like an animal. But again, it's like understanding that from the female perspective. When you hear those stories, I'm never like, yeah, that's not true. I'm always more like, yeah, I've been through that, because I don't like presenting myself as the alpha male. I don't like presenting myself as a tough guy. So I'm one of the guys that always seems to be made a target. And then, like I said, it's just cyclical. I keep finding myself in these situations where I'm just trying to live my life, and then somebody comes along trying to take control of me, and then I freaking pop them. Not physically, but yeah, not a fan of violence in any form. I mean, not that I can't be as a jarhead, but I just don't like it. I don't like hurting people. I don't like hurting things. That's the wrong side. Sorry, pulled from the wrong pile. But again, just stuff like that just goes back to with learning how to govern your emotional and spiritual body, or emotional and mental body. And that's how I've always put it together. I just take, what is it, Plato's Allegory of the Soul? It's where he's got the noble horse and ignoble horse, and the chariot and the rider. For me, it's just, you know, simplified. It's your mind and emotions. Those are the two things that I represent to understand my spirit. That's how I understand the world. So my spirit is just the unification of these 2 points. And I remember my life when I unified them, and it changed me. It's just, I didn't know there was a proper way to do that. And apparently it's been around since before I was born. I just didn't know it because it was stuck with actors. And I was tripping over that in 2008 as well. A lot of this stuff happened on top of each other, weirdly. But that's when I came to the point of realization that, wow, this is the same thing I'm doing. This is teachable. Once you realize it's teachable, it's like, why aren't we teaching it? Why aren't we teaching people how to govern themselves better? How to interface with their mind and emotions in a systemic way to make them better people? I mean, your emotions they're yours. You control them. It's not something that's foreign. It's not an enemy to you. It's a power. It's like having any kind of powerful instrument and not respecting it, you know? I mean, I hesitate to say like a weapon or a gun, but in many ways, yeah, you have to respect it like that, because emotions can be weaponized. They can hurt people if you don't take care and understand how they work, or assail someone that isn't ready to be assailed. We just haven't got there yet, or we ignore it. We have got there. I mean, proof's in the book. We're just not teaching it systemically. We're not treating it as something that should be treated important, and it is. It's the information of how to be a human being. How is that not important? How is it not important to understand how you can control all your emotions and summon them on command? How is it not important to be able to break down a moment and create situational awareness for yourself? How is it not important to be able to read human behavior, to talk in front of a crowd, to have vision? I just feel like we're leaving a lot on the table because we're so busy, we're worried about all the fluff of the world. We just don't care about the substance anymore. And what actors have done over the last 100 years, it's very much substance. But I'm already running along here. I'll cut it short. Thank you all again. I'm going to keep going with these old green guys. Have a lovely day.